All right, man. So yeah, that picture is so ridiculous. I'm gonna keep it because I think it's just ridiculous. But yeah, so I'm in Europe now. Uh, yeah, I'm out. I'm in Europe now, and I tell you why I named this video "No Patience for 'em Over 30." Because okay, right now, right, I'm talking to one girl who's 23 and she's working on her master's, blah blah blah. You know, I'm talking to another girl. She's 28, 29, 30. And man, I tell you what, maybe this is just me, but it's something like when I talk to women over 26, 27, 28, the first initial gut feeling I get is if a woman is this old and she's talking to me, something's wrong with her. I mean, if she's single, okay, if she's single over 25, my initial gut feeling is, what's wrong with you? And from the past, and even now, like dealing with the two different age brackets, the older woman, man, like I have no patience for them because usually, from my experience, usually within the first 2 to 5 contact situations with them, you see, like, and it could be through verbal, it could be through like physical actions, it could be through just basic interpersonal reactions, stuff like that. Usually between 2 or 5 times of meeting them, you can really see why they're single over 25. Like it's not a question. And I don't know if any of you guys out there have experienced this, but I sure have. Like when I deal with a woman who's over 25, it never fails every time. After I'd say usually after about the second time I talk to her, like, and I can guarantee that that's been the course of her life. That's why she's single now. Like the older one I'm talking to on Tinder, I think she's she's about 30. I guarantee this was the constant flow of her life. But she can get away with it a lot more when she was younger. And it's like I'm over here messing with these European girls, so they, all of them look good. Most of them look good. But see, with her, like with this older girl, like well, Ben, it's the same thing everywhere you go. It's just gets regulated slightly, but it's the same thing. When they're 19, 20, 21, a lot of what they're getting away with is just because they look good. Most of them don't have anything to say, you know. So, and then they don't know what anybody else really likes or wants because they don't care. It's a woman's brain. They don't care. The only time they may care is if they have their own child. Then they care about what something else thinks. But for the most part, they don't really know. Their brains are wired. They're just not made like that. But yeah, I'm talking to one. I'm talking to two of them right now. One is 23, the other one's 30. The 23-year-old is right where a 23-year-old should be. And well, she's a little quirky, but I mean it's still there. The older one, I didn't even text her back. I wrote her last night. We was conversating last night. I wrote her say, hey man, like it's because it's the same thing. Like once they hit too far over 25 and that youth and innocence is gone, and now they trying to run around and be career women and independent women and strong women. It destroys them. No, let me rephrase it. It doesn't destroy them. It destroys their chances of being with a good partner. I'll say that. That's what it does. Once they get too old, then when they're young and they know they still look a little good, they still look good, and all they got to do is have a little bit of intelligence. See, that'll get them over a lot more in those younger years. But when they start hitting, 27, 28, 29, 30, no, let me tell you now, there was one 30-year-old I met right before I left the US to come here. And she was legitimately, she feels like she could have been a good partner, but I was literally leaving like 12 hours later after I met her. So I didn't, pursue it. But if I wasn't leaving, I would have totally talk to her. She was 30, but she had the spouse feeling in her. But like usually, man, once they get too far above 25, 26, uh, once they get too far over that, it's usually very clear. Like I said, I say within 2 to 5 meetings, you will see, like, your gut will tell you that's why she's single. That's why. She just doesn't have a certain caring mentality, or she just doesn't have a certain awareness of a relationship, or she never initiates a conversation, or she never, you see what I'm saying, because she's used to just opening her legs and getting people to do things for her. You see what I'm saying? She's used to just smiling and putting on makeup to get people to do. So she doesn't, like, there's like and when they were younger, they could have got away with it, but when they hit, 30, they can't get away with that anymore. Because we start thinking more, and we start seeing things better than we did when we were 20. Man, like, it's really sad, man. Like, but yeah, like I said, I didn't even write the older woman back. I wrote the young. I'm still actually. She just the young girl. She just wrote me back right when yeah, she wrote a paragraph too. I didn't read that right now. But yeah, I mean, you see, like, and the older girl I didn't even look at the message. Because, like I said, man, like, once they get older, man, like, there's just like in most cases, one, okay, in most cases, once they get older, there's just no purpose. Their life has no purpose anymore, other than to, like, pretend she's some worn out Sex in the City whore or something like that. And I'm a strong, independent woman. That's about as far as their worth goes once they get too old. Now there are cases like there. I had two neighbors before I left. They were older women, and they were single. They were, I think one was retired and the other one was still working. But both of them's husband died. And you know what's crazy about it? When I talked to them, I genuinely had a feeling like this woman could be a good spouse. You see, like, they were old, and fat and fucked up. But you got to still pay. Hear me out on this. As a man looking for like a spouse, their temperament and their ability to speak and say something that would make you think, and you respond. All of that said, this woman would make a good spouse. And come to find out, yeah, she actually did make a good spouse, because they both of them were married for like 40 years or something like that. And both of them's husband died. See, like, that's the reality, man. Like, but like, now this 30-year-old I'm talking to on here on social, I don't know what it is I'm talking to her on, whatever it is I'm talking to her on. This 30-year-old, I guarantee, now women like that, her entire life is going to be like this. Like, she's going to talk to some guy. Maybe she can probably be there at first, and then the guy who, like me, he'll get a red flag. Something's wrong with you, and just not write her back. And it's not even like a huge red flag. It's not like I caught her like doing porn or something. It's just a red flag, and like her basic everyday, day to day, the way she just talks and the way she is. She's just lacking that feminine, caring part of her. I don't know how to explain it perfectly, but she's just missing that. And that's where a lot of women, by the time they're 30, that's where a lot of them end up. If they didn't get married, or if they didn't get married at least one time, that's where a majority of them will end up like this woman, just bouncing on dick to dick, and just never amounting to anything to anyone other than a one night stand. That's where she is. And a lot of women, they never grow out of that, because see, like I said in previous videos, women mature much quicker than men, but their maturity level maxes out much lower than men's. You see, so when they're like 4 and 5, they've got the mentality of like I'd say A 20-year-old guy? No, I was like 4 or 5. I said maybe like between 7 and 9 years old. They've got the maturity of, I say, maybe 16 and 18-year-old guy. They're light years ahead of us then. But see, the thing is, see, when they hit 15, that's about where it maxes out. And after that, they're just pretending that they're still growing. But in the reality, when you really sit them down and talk to them and hear like the logic that's pumping in their brain, they're just pretending after 15. Okay. All these intelligent big words, all this shit, all this is just a facade and an act. An act it is an act to hope that a higher qualified man might fall for her BS and pick her up and take her along. That's why they do it. You see, they're mature. They max out mentally at around, I'd say, between 15 to 17 years old. All of them, every single one. They max roughly in those ages, and then after that, any other growth after that is just a complete fake act in hopes that they can get some man that'll fall for it or has no other option but that. And they know it. And then I go back into that whole thing, saying like they know they know exactly what I'm saying is true. It just hurts that it's true, so they get mad, but it's true. But yeah, man, like I just don't have any patience. When they get over 27, I don't have any patience for them anymore because, like I said, there is a reason why they're still running around. See, like, and this is the timetable. See, women, like I think I went over this in previous videos. How a woman's value in the marketplace, in the dating world, it maxes out at 25. Okay. So, I mean, it sounds bad, but it's the truth. Okay. So, and like I think I said this in a previous video. Let's say if you go to the grocery store and and you want to go buy some bananas, and all the bananas got a date written on them, right? And for some reason, these bananas over here, they still sitting there. They'd have been here for the last 4 weeks. And they still sitting here. They don't, and you can see where they might have had some brown spots, and they covered them up with makeup, and you know what I'm saying, and all this stupid stuff. But see them fresh bananas, they coming in, they going out, coming in, going out, and you coming in here, you come in, you see them old bananas that's a month old, with makeup covering up, Botox filling it back up. You're trying to make it look like those young fresh bananas, and your immediate gut feeling is, hey, something's wrong with those bananas. I better not eat those. But every now and then you get that one hungry motherfucker that goes, that banana look good. Every now and then you get that one loser, or for whatever reason, he's desperate or something like that. He maybe has low self-esteem or something, and he just eats it up. And see, that's the guy that all of them is hoping for once they get over 27. Because see, the reality of it is they know that their max value, that their value tops out at around 25 to 26, 27, depending on the woman. Mostly 25, 26, 27. I mean, there are some, record breakers. Not often. There are some Halle Berrys out there who, but for the most part, 25, 27. After that, I'll text you when I feel like it. Anyway, I'm texting this 23-year-old right now. Bye. That's just, it's the reality of it. And then what's okay, and see what's sad about it is this. The older a woman gets, right, the more accustomed she becomes to having a higher standard. But see, the whole thing is on a weird time. It's on a whole backwards timetable. It's like, okay, so by the time they hit 40, they want the whole world. But you 40, like you ain't worth the whole world no more. You was worth that 20 years ago. You not worth that. Say, a woman's whole mental logic timetable scale is just it's probably the most backwardest thing on the planet. In all honesty, it's just backwards. Like So by the time they hit 35, they say, you better come up with XYZ. Like, you ain't worth XYZ. And they be mad. Like, it's so sad. But I'm glad. Bars. Like, it's so funny. Their lifespan is a comedy show, to be honest about it, man. It's brutal to say, but it is. And it's funny. The reason it's so funny is because when they're on top, they don't care about you at all. You can just roll, you can literally roll down the street and die in front of them, and they will walk over you when they're in their top prime. That's what makes it so hilarious in the end. Like all of them, every model, every porn star, man, it is so funny. It's funny. I love it. I love it. But yeah, man, this is my first video from Europe. So I don't know if you guys even hear me because I feel like I have to talk low because this place echoes a bit. It looks small from this camera, but it's actually it's a decent sized place. It feels like my voice is echoing and I'm in this flat. Man, I could see all over Prague. I could hear it. Maybe you guys, I don't know if you guys can see out my window, but like I can see like all downtown. Like it probably looks horrible on this horrible. I've been meaning to get a new camera. Probably looks terrible on this screen, but yeah. So yeah, first video from Europe. I'm still here. Yeah. So have a good night, day, whatever.